Hi, so vlog number 2. Before I start, I just want to say a big thank you to all the lovely people who sent nice messages and were generally really positive about the first one. This isn't something I ever really thought I'd do, so yeah, it's nice to have some, solely positive responses for a change, and yeah, I'm really grateful, so thank you. And yeah, so the next topic that I want to talk about is cheat meals, falling off the wagon, and the fuck it bucket. So every time I post a photo or the body coach posts one of my photos, I get loads of questions and comments about whether I ever had cheat meals during the plan, whether I ever had meals that were like completely off plan. And it's obviously something that people really want to talk about, and a problem that lots of people have. And so yeah, I'll start by talking about the body coach, and also I'll give you a bit of a backstory to kind of where I was at when I started the body coach, just in case you haven't read any of kind of what I've written, or you don't know about it. So I think it was in November 2014. I had quite a big motorbike accident. Me and my boyfriend and another friend went on a road trip. I was living in Vietnam at the time, and we went on a road trip, and I was going quite fast, and I kind of came off my motorbike and kind of screwed up the whole of my leg. And when it was x-rayed, they didn't spot any break or anything, so I just thought it was sprained. So I spent the next kind of 8 months trying to run on it, wearing heels on it. And by the time I'd had it re-x-rayed when we moved back to England, I think it was in the following July, basically I'd broken it and re-broken it a number of times, and I basically completely screwed up my leg, and it wasn't good. So yeah, I basically spent the next year recovering from it. I was in a big plastic boot for a long time. And I became a bit of a recluse, really, because it's quite difficult to leave the house, and I couldn't work, and that's when I put on all my weight. I think I'd kind of sunk into a bit of a low level depression, and I think I'd used food as a bit of a crutch, and and I piled on the pounds, as you do when you're not moving around much, and you're eating, well, probably your body weight quite a lot. So by the time I think by the start of 2016, I was kind of at the end of my tether, and I really, really desperately wanted to feel like myself again, to kind of get back into my clothes. I tried literally everything. I think I did the Dukan, I did Atkins, I used some weird alkaline thing, I'd lose some weight and I'd put it back on, and by the time I got to about a month before I started the body coach, I decided to drop my calories to 800 a day, which is not advisable and was pretty silly, and it kind of fills me with regret thinking about that, really. But obviously, as what happens when you cut your calories to kind of ridiculous levels, I'd binge. So I'd get completely fed up with it, and I would just eat everything in the house. And so I ended up, putting on loads and loads and loads of weight. And I think I was about 15 or 20% kind of higher than I usually am. And none of my clothes fit me, and I was pretty kind of exasperated by that point. So, like everybody else, it seems, in the world, I'd seen Joe Wicks and the body coach on Instagram, and I kind of looked through the pictures, and quite a lot of people had tried to talk me out of it, saying the transformations were fake, that it wouldn't work, blah 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 blah. It was too difficult, but I decided not to listen, and I decided to go for it. So I spoke to my boyfriend Henry about it, and I said, this is a bit cringe, but I think I said, I want the gift of feeling good about myself again for my 30th birthday. And he bought me the plan as kind of like an early birthday present. And I started, I think it was either late May or early June, I can't remember. And I basically, before I started, I'd kind of made a bit of a pact with myself, and I decided to kind of really, really give it my all. And yeah, so I kind of started it with gusto, and I'd say in cycle 1, I don't think I had any cheat meals. I don't think I went and had burgers, or you know, I was really strict actually on alcohol especially. I didn't drink anything. Actually, I remember going to a festival and not drinking and getting a lot of stick for it and being made to feel really bad about doing the plan, like I was really silly or something. And yeah, so I pretty much stuck to it. And then in between cycle 1 and cycle 2, I had a holiday to Ibiza, and I'd intended to be good. I bought my trainers. I'd intended to kind of carry on with the HIIT, but I didn't. And I ate all the pasta in the world, and yeah, I didn't stick to it. But I added on another week, so I just made sure that I kind of made up for it. And I think actually that week gave me a bit more kind of resolution to do it properly. So the rest of the plan, cycle 2 and cycle 3, I think I probably stuck to it maybe kind of 95%. I've done I did all of the workouts, I will say that. I think the only kind of cheat meals that I don't really like that term, but cheat meals that I really had were ones where like I was really busy. I just started a new job, so I was working like 60 hours a week, and I didn't have time to prep. So I would kind of, you know, I'd try, when I went to a supermarket or whatever, I would try and get something that kind of vaguely fit with the principles. So in cycle 1, that was kind of low carb, high fat. Cycle 2, well, I could just have a sandwich or whatever, but, you know, I always tried to make sure that it kind of fit in. I did also have a festival during the plan. Obviously did not stick. I went to Shambhala. I didn't stick to anything. But again, I added it on to the end of the plan. I think one of the beauties of the body coach is that you've got a year. So you've got a year to complete it. And I think that makes it a bit easier actually. You know, you can still live your life, you know, if there is certain events or, you know, I think it's just a case of kind of getting straight back on it afterwards. But yeah, so that was the body coach. I would say that, yeah, I was pretty strict. And I think, you know, what I say to everyone about the body coach is that, you know, it's 3 months or, you know, a bit longer if you kind of add on time. And it's a really good plan that helps you change your habits. It helps to re-educate you about food and exercise. So I really kind of push for people to really dedicate themselves to it and see it as an education. You know, I don't really crave sweet stuff as much as I used to. I think because, you know, you do kind of cut out most sugary things, and you know, you are a little bit more restricted. So these days, in terms of my macro tracking, I think because it's so flexible, I don't feel the need to cheat. But I do, you know, I fit in all the things that I want into my calorie intake. So, you know, in the morning I'll have porridge I'll have it with Oreo thins and choc shot. And, you know, if I want a slice of pizza or, you know, I'll have it, but I'll kind of balance it out with everything for the rest of the day. And I think also, one of the things that I should mention is that through the body coach and through kind of weightlifting, I've built up so much muscle that even if I do kind of slip off a little bit, it's not the end of the world. You know, I feel like my body kind of eats calories these days, and it makes it a lot easier to kind of keep the weight off. And yeah, I think I should probably speak about the fuck it bucket, as I mentioned earlier on. So the fuck it bucket is like a nifty little contraption where you put all of your guilt and all of your bad negative thoughts around food, you know, around any meals that you've had. So in the past, when I've slipped off the wagon, or, you know, I'd had a naughty food, I would probably then go on a 2-week binge, and yeah, I'd feel like I'd ruined everything. But these days I put it in the fuck it bucket. You know, if I go out and I eat something that, you know, maybe I probably shouldn't have, it didn't really fit my macros, but whatever, I put it in that and I forget about it. Like, there's no point in dwelling on it. If you dwell on it, you get into this negative cycle, and I think that's where my head was at before. So yeah, I think it's all about it's all about, you know, making sure that your mindset is still very positive, and it will help to kind of drive you forward. I also don't really like the word cheat meal. I think it makes food into a negative thing, and I don't think that, you know, I don't think we should feel that way towards food. I think that we should, you know, we should love our food, and, you know, if we should all be very balanced in kind of what we eat, and I think that's, you know, that mindset is the biggest change for me, really. So yeah, vlog number 2. If it's helped you, if you've got anything from it, you know, give me a comment, subscribe to the channel. Yeah, I'm really enjoying doing these, and I'm kind of, yeah, I'm hoping to improve, and yeah, I hope people get something from it. So yeah, bye.